All right, so here we are. Golf Clash came out with a new update today. I've been super busy all day today. Had a super busy work day, so we got the July update. In the second half of the year, we're going to be making a lot of awesome additions to Golf Clash, starting with changes to the golf balls and the way they are displayed in the game. Here's what you find in our latest update. So I'm sure everybody, if you've been on today, you've seen all this. We're enhancing the way golf balls are displayed in your bag, each attribute, win, power, side spin. But from my understanding is they're still making you choose every ninth ball, even though they're now not counting them as packs. They're counting how many balls you have. They still haven't changed one thing right there that we've all been asking. We will now be displaying as a layer within the ball. Selecting an attribute will show you further details about the layer and the effect that will have on your ball. Each part of the golf ball relates to its different attributes. The mantle, side spin, the core. This update also increases options for spin. This right here is a big major change. The new side spin 4 and side spin 5 stats are available on future balls. These new attributes will increase the amount of side spin that you can add to your shot. So if you think about how they've done it in the past, if you put on maximum side spin, so on your scale for your bars, if you put on maximum side spin, you can only get a certain amount of top spin. And you could probably get, and I can't even remember now, maybe 2 or 3 top spin if you had maximum side spin. But if you had maximum top spin, you could only get 2 or 3 side spin. So you had to kind of balance your ball. Sometimes you'd bring out a 3 side spin ball, but you're using all the top spin and you actually weren't using the 3 side spin. So you were kind of wasting that ball. So in order to make room for that, they had to adjust the scale that we have for this. So the top spins, my understanding is the top spin scale is going to be the same, but this whole thing of now having just 5 bars versus the 9 that we had before. So that means that for every 3, a 1 side spin ball, you had what, 2 1/4, 2 1/2. So it'd be 2, 4, 6, 7 1/2, 8 bars of side spin. And now we've got 5. So if you're trying to get that where you're trying to put on a half a bar of side spin, there obviously is a mathematical equation that you can do, or I'm sure already there's a sheet out there to tell you, but it's going to be very hard with the way that the ticks are to get on a 16th of a bar, because that 1 bar represents 2 1/2 of the old bars. So if you break that down, it's going to be really hard to get that little sliver of side spin. Now there's a lot of shots that I don't use side spin, and there's a lot of shots that we're just using the max side spin. So it'd be curious to see how that affects the game. It will definitely affect, and if you had notes where you had side spin and stuff, a lot of that stuff's going to have to be changed. To accommodate this change, we're revamping, and so they're going to revamp the system. They talk about that there. So the old system, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We had 7 bars of side spin, and now we have 5. So we have 5, and we've got extra. So that means that we had 7 and 3. So that's 2 1/3. 2 1/3 per side spin. Now we've got 5 that it's going to represent. 2 1/3 times 5. So that would be 10, 11, 11 2/3. So it's definitely going to make a difference on side spin, on how we calculate it, or it may be hard for us to get. Now it looks like they're a little bit wider than the old ticks, so we still may be able to work that out, but that will definitely be a change. Improvements to the perfect zone. I'm not sure if this is an improvement. Since Golf Clash was launched in 2017, the perfect zone has been 1 degree either side of dead center on the aim target. This means that the great zone does include roughly half of the yellow circle. So 1 degree at what distance? I'm not sure why they changed. I haven't seen it yet, but my understanding is it's significantly smaller for the perfect zone. So what's funny is that a lot of people have been complaining that we're hitting perfects, and so instead of Play Dummy going, hey, we're going to make the perfect zone a perfect, we're going to make it smaller and change that part of it. I mean, they had 2 ways that they could go, and they made it smaller. So we'll have to see how that works. As often as I hit great as it is now, so we'll just have to see if it works. I suppose a perfect's still a perfect. if that's how they rate it. But what's funny is that they've said that, you know, that's not the case in the past, and now they're addressing the issue. So 1 degree on either side of dead center on the aim target. This means that the great zone does include roughly half of the yellow circle. So that means that the perfect target now is half as big as it was before. Wow. Wow. So to help address this, so like the question I have is like, did they change the size of all the rings to match up with it? Like, how does that work? I'll have to go in there and see. I haven't seen. I have not. I didn't even go in this morning when I got up and I saw that there was an update. I didn't go in and play any games because I wanted to shoot this video and I wanted to just give you like my first impressions. Bug fixes. Fixed to ensure that the weekly league totals display correctly. Performance improvements designed to directly resolve issues with lag and needle skipping. It's amazing how often people have sent in tickets and said, hey, man, we're having a problem here. And they said, no, it's got to be on your end. But yet we did a fix here to fix the needle skipping and lag issues. Fix the edge case where clam points weren't received when opening tournament chests. Going forward, this update represents a small portion of what's being developed for more releases throughout this year, detailed of which will be confirmed closer to the time of release over the coming weeks. We can reveal that we will have some important improvements to tournament bracketing and ranking systems, exciting news about tournament win conditions that will improve competition and recognize skill on the course rotations that will keep the tours fresh no matter your level of play, and some amazing new challenges to take part in. There's much more on the way, and we can't wait to share it with you. I know, like the tournament win stuff, you know, it would be nice if they had more like what they do right now in tournaments is they pick the win and then it's the same throughout the whole tournament. They should have 1 day qualifying round, this is the win. Opening round, this is the win. Weekend round, this is the win. And it changes so that it will make it harder to set up shots. But here's the news to all the people that complain is that people who actually know how to use the win ring method, we are still going to have an advantage over them because we can just adjust. We already know how to adjust for the wind. We may have to change our elevation and we may have to work on that stuff a little bit, but people that actually are already students of the game and already know how to do wind ring method, which is most of the people that listen to my channel, that's not going to hurt us. So my recommendation to Golf Clash, so that they can get people to quit complaining, is they should make brackets of 4 people. So the weekend bracket's only 4 people. That way only 25% of the people complain instead of 97. I guess that's the way it works. So let's go in and check it out. Let's just go in and play and see what happens and see what this all looks like. Cause I'm like the whole size of the target thing is like, wow. Like they had 2 different ways that they could go and that's the way they chose. So we'll see. Let's go play some Tour 6. Let's see what the deal is. Let's see. We're getting the new redwood holes in here. I haven't played a single one of these holes, so we can see if we can get some good video. I can cut this video out. And so I'm going to start playing some of these holes so that I can get a play set going. I know my teammates have been out all day long. Our messenger chat's been hundreds of people. Hundreds of things going on. And let's see if we can get one of them. And let's check bags real quick. Let me check my bag. I have no idea what would be the optimal clubs to bring. So let me bring a selection. Rock sniper, quarterback sniper, APOC guardian, Grim Reaper. All right, I guess that's good. We got a Marlin. We'll try it out. If we get on any of the new holes, though, I'm probably going to bring out a Titan, regardless of what my opponent brings out, just so that I can check out the holes. Sequoia Creek right off the bat, hole 5, par 4. First time I've ever been on any of these Sequoia Creek holes, so let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. It's like, what time is it? It's 9:50 at my house, and I got a cup of coffee. I'm all ready to roll. I was telling my teammates there's a course not too far from my house, Elkhorn Golf Course. And they don't have a lot of trees in the middle of the course like this, but it's in the middle of a giant Douglas fir forest. And there's so much underbrush. Oregon's really close to being a subtropical rainforest in our coastal range and on the western side of the Cascades, that the underbrush is absolutely impassable. And their motto there at that golf course is, do you have enough balls to play Elkhorn? Because if you end up where you're not in the fairway, you're dropping a ball because you're not going to find your ball. What kind of distances can we get here? Let's see here. Let's bring out a rock. I'm just curious to know, like, actually, let's bring out a extra mile. Let's bring out a little bigger ball. Let's see what that needle looks like. What's funny is now the grate to the left or the right bigger than it was before, because they've got that second ring in there. So they didn't change all of the rings. They just changed the bullseye in the middle. So now a grate to the left or the right is bigger. That seems kind of funny that they wouldn't change. This is why I'm saying it seems kind of funny that they would change that spot instead of leaving it like it was and changing the math so that those rings are the same. So now we have, is the grate to the left or the right the little teeny bit, and then a 2-ring grate to the left or the right is a bigger area? So there's 1, 2, 3. So there's 6 rings now in there instead of 5. I didn't adjust for wind. I didn't do anything. I'm just like looking at this, at the changes here. Where are we at in Grizzly? I'm right at minimum club, so that's 2 per ring. We are way downhill, so I'm going to do 10% would be, I'm going to do a 30%, so that'd be a 4, 5. So there's 4, 5. Yeah, they've messed the rings up, so I'm not sure. We have more rings in here now, so now we're going to have to learn a whole new deal. Oh my God. I'm going to have to freeze some of this video. I'm going to have to take some photos and freeze some of it so I can see what the hell is going on down there with that target. We have 5 rings out on the field. We've had 5 rings. Now we have 6. We'll have to see how it plays out. I'm getting a little lag right now, I think, because my battery's really low. I forgot to plug my device in before I left today. We worked all day and then we gave bids all this afternoon. Then went for a swim. No, I'm doing a 50% wind adjustment on this. So that's going to be 3, 4, 4, 5, let's say. I don't think with tailwind that I have to do quite that much. But I'm going to do a full adjustment here, so that's 4.5. Isn't it great? I think all I'm going to hit from now on is great. I know on this particular hole right here, we just had this in the Liberty Cup. It was hole number 8. And normally in tournaments, I play from the top of the hill, but for some reason this time I was tanking it every time I hit from the top of the hill. When I was playing, when I got these holes in shootouts, I was doing fine. But whenever it was on a tournament hole, we were getting some headwind on it, and for whatever reason, I was ending up in that sand over here. I was going from the top of the hill. But in one-on-one, I almost always play it like I play it right there. I play max backspin, max on right-hand side spin. I try and walk the ball guy down to the cup, and I do a 50% wind adjustment. So I got irritated at it, and on hole number 17, that was the shot that I did, and it was the only hole-in-one I made on this hole all week. Little laggy. Good game. That's some serious lag. No replay. Come on, dude. What's the deal? Especially when you get a Sequoia Hills or Sequoia Springs, Southern Pines, hole 6, par 5. Let's get us on a hole that we've played before. We can at least try this out. So I know this hole right here is a quasar all day, twice on Sundays. So which way my opponent's going at it. I'm going to do a max overpower hook here with an extra mile and a quasar. And I really want to bring a sniper. I want to bring my number 1 bag, because if I can get into the right spot, there is a max overpower, or there is a rough bump that you can do here. My opponent is probably going to be in the right spot. Yeah, they're going to do pretty much probably what I'm going to end up doing, and that's going to be overshooting it and ending up in that rough. What I want to do is come out of the hook and actually clip the rough. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rings now. So I'm not sure what the center ring there represents. So I'm going to go 2, 4, 6, 7, 7, 2. And see if I can clip that rough coming out. Just a little. I need to go a little bit farther. Little teeny bit farther to the left, so when I come around that bend, I can clip that rough. I'll have a good look at it from there. I'm in the same exact spot as my opponent. My Nirvana doesn't have quite enough topspin to be able to do the rough bump. I don't like the fact that we have rings that are different sizes now. I don't think there's enough topspin to get out of it. It's about a half a ring. In the old system, that's about a half a ring. So we'll just do a half a ring. Isn't it great? And that did not respond at all. I've also heard that the chip shots coming in respond differently. So we'll have to see how that responds. Because, I mean, looking at the way the ball guide was there, I didn't clip anything. It was only a 1-1 wind. So it's not like the wind's going to lay it down that much. And on how it responded coming out of the rough. Let's see if topspin still responds the same on a rapier or if it responds different. Hitting it perfect. Yeah, at least that still responds the same. First perfect shots. How many have I taken? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots. 6 shots and finally hit a perfect. So 1 out of 6 ain't bad. 1 out of 6 ain't bad. How to do some karaoke. All right. One of the par threes, one of the new Sequoia Springs par threes. Let's see if we can get this one down. First time I've ever played this hole, so let's see what we got here. Wood shot. If you wanted to get on the green, let's see how much distance they've got. I'm not showing what the red line is there, whether they're close to their grizzly or not. There's probably a rough bump that we can do here. So if you have a sniper, you can probably do a rough bump. You can do a rough bump with this big dog, but the ball guide blows, so you're not going to really kind of see where it's going to go. Let's see if we can do better than that. So where am I at in my club? There's max. So I'm right at max club, so it's 1 per ring. One per ring, 7, 9. There's 5, 6, 7. Let's do 8. I'm just going to do a straight up adjustment. No elevation, no nothing. Isn't it perfect? And see how far off that is. Look at how far off trajectory that was. I mean, that's like 10 yards off trajectory. I mean, even on a perfect shot, even with that wind, even if I would have done a 20% or a 30% over adjustment, that still would have only been, it was like 8 miles per hour. So 30% would have been 2.4 rings. And that was way more than 2.4 rings off. So I'm not sure how they're counting those rings anymore. That's discouraging right there. That's very discouraging. We will see. Very discouraging. All right, Randy, we got Sequoia Creek, hole 7, par 4. Hole 7, par 4. I have no idea. First time I've ever played this hole, so I have no idea where it's at. And we got a big headwind. 5-3. And I don't know how they're doing those rings since they've got that new ring in there. Hitting it perfect. See if I hit that tree. Just hit it. Just hit that big limb coming down. Now let's see where that tree is, because we might be able to go around it. If you had more curl, you could go around it. Yeah, I think that's the deal, is to bring out an APOC and try and go around it, or we're just going to have to hit the shot up into this area right here. Let's see if my opponent can get that down. So their white ring's off on the sand over here, and let's see if they're going to do a max overpower hook. Nope, they're just going to lay it up. I can tell you right now, I'd rather end up in the sand where I'm at than to lay up over here. I'm going to have to figure out what they're counting that ring as. Because we definitely have a multi-sized rings here. I have no idea what they're counting those as. I know hitting at 7,000 rings great to the right, or whatever they count that as now, it's probably not going to do good. But look how much that's laid up from the hole versus how it looked like from the ball guide. Now, I know I was going up against a headwind there, but that is very discouraging that they've made adjustments to how that ball rolls out versus the ball guide. That defeats the purpose of having ball guide. I'm just wondering if Playdemic is really just trying to piss off all their longtime players. Or what exactly their plan was. I mean, you'd think that if you were going to have rings like that, you'd have all the rings the same size. Isn't it perfect? In the hole. That chip coming up there on the previous hole with the Nirvana and how it responded as far as where the ball guy was, and that one right there with the Spitfire. Both of those shots, I believe, were against headwind, and I understand that it's going to lay it down a little, but both of those shots were clearly ball guided onto the green towards the cup, and both of them were clearly 10, 15 yards off. And the perfect shot with the sniper at Max Club was 10 yards off on a perfect shot going right toward the hole. And even counting in elevation adjustments, that was way off. Way off. Now this hole right here, we had pretty dialed in the last tournament as far as hole in one. And we'll see this hole right here was with a 10% adjustment at 1.1 per ring plus 0.2. Now it will lay it down a little bit, so I'll do a little bit more of an adjustment on it. So I'll do 6.2, I'll do 7. Plus 0.2. So there would be 5, 6, 7. Isn't it perfect? And look at how much it laid that down. That is discouraging. I know my buddy Dale Appleby played today, and I saw a post that he did, and he was really excited about the changes. So it might just be something you have to get used to, or you have to work it out. But that seems very, very. I'm curious to know how they're counting, how the rings are, because you've got those two center rings are one size, and then the outside rings are a different size. Like how that's affecting. How that's affecting it. It's obviously affecting my game because of the performance here, but just trying to get used to something new. This is like driving a car for your entire life and then having them come out with some totally new way of doing it. So for people who are brand new to the game, that's probably not that big of a deal. But for people that have been playing for a long time, it's a little bigger deal. Which way do I want to come into this? I think my number 2 bag is actually the bag. See if I don't clip that tree. We can just make it over to that fairway and lay it up and see what that look looks like. I didn't adjust for the wind properly there. I was running out of time, so I just threw it out there. I don't know that even if you were on that fairway there, if there's enough room to get a max overpower hook. So this is pretty much going to be if that's the island that you're trying to get to, what the shot is from there, like whether a 3 power ball can get you up from that spot. I could work my way up closer to the front of that with that rock. You can do that same thing with a quarterback. And a quarterback there might actually do you a little bit better because you're not having to use all of the power. And a quarterback's got more topspin. So even if you don't have an upper developed rock, your quarterback's going to net you probably more yards. And my opponent's going to lay up at the end of the first fairway. Stay in, stay in, stay in, stay in, stay in, stay in. There you go. I want to see what that looks like from over there. Get a bigger ball, you could get up there. Try and do a rough bump. 1.6. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rings. 1.6. I'm going to do 1.6 on this as if that ring counts. So 1.6. That little thing looked like it was jogging pretty hard. They said they fixed that jogging of the needle, but that looked like it was jogging pretty hard. And that was definitely 70 rings great to whatever side I hit it on. I read a post, somebody sent in a ticket to Playdemic, and Playdemic responded, and they talked about these transparent trees, where when you're putting your ball guide through it, the tree grows transparent. I would much rather have it that the tree is not transparent. That way you know that it's an obstacle. Very nice. Very nice. So I think on there you could go from either direction. But I think if you did have a bigger power ball, you probably could do a rough bump from over here on this side. You're not going to be able to do that, I don't think, from the other side. So I don't know if that's a 2-ring grate or if that's a 1-ring grate or if that's a 14-ring grate, because I don't know from the ring set. They've got that, they took the center ring and they made it 2 rings, and they said that a grate was actually 1 degree. So why didn't they make all of the other rings smaller and make the entire set smaller? Not sure. All right, this is a hole I've played 1,000 times, so let's see how it works on this. And this is a pretty good wind for a rock. So here's the deal. I'm going to use the island, and the high percentage point is to use the spot from out here. But I'm going to use the island because we'll be able to see like where it's coming. So it's a 6-7 tailwind. So I'm going to just do, and it's at max club, so it's going to be 6.7 rings. And I'm going to count that center ring as 2 rings. We'll see. That's going to be a pretty decent shot. You got to get way up on that backboard to have any shot at a hole-in-one, but that'll be pretty close. Right out. I don't have enough room to work out the wind. As much wind as we've got there. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not sure that that's how it works out. 6, 7, 8, 4. Isn't it perfect? And you got to get way up on that backboard in order to get, but it's going to come down too fast. You got to get way up on that backboard in order to get the trajectory to come down towards the hole. But when you get to the hole, if you don't go right in, you're going too fast. The best way to get a hole-in-one on here is to go to the island. And that's the first time I've ever been on here where I was actually taking that shot with my wood instead of my driver. And I've been on this hole, I don't know how many times, with a big power ball. And so that's something else that looks like it's changed. All right, we're 40 minutes in. Let's play one more. We'll play one more and see what happens. And I'm just, my initial response here is that I don't know. I don't know. They've changed several things here. They've changed our ring set and they've changed our bullseye stuff, like one or the other. But what do they mean? And I've said it before. When I first started playing, I went out and tried to find some way The game was brand new because I've been playing since 2017. When the game first came out. And if I couldn't find some way of scientifically repeatability way figure out the wind, well, it wasn't worth playing the game. And that's when I found the wind ring method, and it was brand new. So that's been around since like May, June of 2017 to 18 to 19 to 20. So it's been 3 years. And there's the vast majority of players that play this game now use the wind ring method. To make 2 major changes in one update seems like they're just trying to piss off their old customers. They're just trying. It's 1 less than max topspin. I'm going to pull back just a little. I'm going to do a 20% wind adjustment. So let's count that as 9. That'd be 10.8. Let's say 10.6. Full ring set here is 10.5. That might be an overpull based off of that new center ring. Isn't it perfect? We'll find out. And I didn't quite pull it as much as I should have based off of the old rings. We'll see where I come in versus that sign. I am a little bit to the left of that sign, and I didn't quite pull out as much wind as I should have. It was probably pretty close. I'm going to have to go down into the lower tours and just hit some balls with my teammates so that we can just hit to a spot and pick a spot that we can recognize the transition between the rough. This is what you do. You go down with your teammates and you go out and hit. Take one of your clubs you feel super confident in. You see, especially if you got 100% accurate clubs. Set up a bag that's got 100% accurate stuff in it, and then go out there and hit to a transitional line and really focus on trying to hit perfect and see where you end up on that transitional line. Okay, so I have a 100% accurate club here. Ah! Damn it. Never forfeit. I forfeit in shootouts because of the videos, but in one-on-one play, I never forfeit because you never know. Your opponent could end up tanking a shot or having a disconnect or letting you back in the game. Never forfeit. Ever. All right. I'm going to end this right here. I'm going to go. I just wanted to get some. My initial response is that I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what all that means. I don't know we've got an extra. They took the bullseye, which was this big, and now they've made it this big. And so we had 5 rings before, so we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rings before, and now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rings now. So if the center is perfect, and this is a 1 ring grate, and this is a 2 ring grate, and this is a 3 ring grate, and this is a good, and this is a really, really bad. But they've also equated this out to the rings that we have on our clubs. So these two really don't. So I'm assuming that if they're saying that 1 degree, so based off of what I read in the thing is, here's the center line where perfect now is. And if you draw a line through the center of it, this is 1 degree, and this is 1 degree. And they're saying that the outside of this line is now 2. So why didn't they change all of the other lines to match so that our entire set's smaller? Those are questions that I don't know the answers to. So I'm going to have to go find out. All right. I will end this, and I'm going to have to do some research to find out what the deal is. So there's where we have it. I have no idea what to think about the changes. but I will find out some more and I will get back with you. My plan was before this happened. My plan was to stream tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. I was going to stream tomorrow afternoon. I know I got a lot of people that are on the East Coast and Midwest, and when I streamed last time, it was pretty late here. So I was going to try and pick a time where the majority of people that I know could get on and set up a time to come out and stream. So I may have to do that tomorrow, and then we can all just kind of talk about it. And I will try and set up a time to come back out and stream tomorrow so that we can all have a discussion about it. But right now, I'm going to go do some research, and hopefully tomorrow I'll have some more answers. All right. Thanks for watching.